Being the biggest time of the year for professional wrestling in general, fans will be tuning in more and more to see how you can excite them as WrestleMania is just around the corner. But you gotta be innovative with what you do, and you gotta hope that your plans work. More on that in a minute. First of all, welcome to John's Wrestling Views. I'm your host, John. Thanks for tuning in. A lot going on right now in WWE and in TNA for that matter, as the ratings war continues. Being on the road to WrestleMania, WWE's ratings are going to be picking up more and more. It's just kind of a given. But they got to do something to keep those ratings up. They got to keep exciting. And then you got TNA over here battling with them. And if they want to stand a chance in the ratings war, they got to really pick up story ideas to really get those viewers in. What's going to make their product stick out more than the company that's hosting the event that's the wrestling equivalent to the Super Bowl for the NFL? Well, TNA thought, hey, let's take a shot at it. Let's say that there's this group coming out who are coming to TNA, they're coming to TNA and they're coming to take out Immortal. We're going to have Crimson, be their messenger, and we'll be promoting February 3rd as the biggest impact of all time as Mr. Anderson defends his newly won TNA World Championship against Jeff Hardy, the Antichrist of professional wrestling. Let's mark the return of Hulk Hogan, and by golly, let's make a huge, pun intended, impact with this new group coming in to take out TNA's biggest faction, that being Immortal. So the idea of, hey, how about the Main Event Mafia? Great idea. So bring Scott Steiner back. Main Event Mafia, that's the older version of Immortal, essentially. You have all the top stars in TNA and Immortal. Well, Main Event Mafia, that's what they were all about. That's what their moniker was. So it makes sense, yeah, let's put them in. But you have Kevin Nash and Booker T both signing contracts with the rival company, WWE. Now we can't really do that, can we? So what are we going to do? We're going to tear Immortal apart. Immortal being famous for having, Hogan, Eric Bischoff, Jeff Hardy, Jeff Jarrett, and Abyss, along with the members of Ric Flair's Fortune, as this huge super faction in TNA. Well, so, okay, the Main Event Mafia can't come in. Kurt Angle and Scott Steiner's running around. Who are they? Who's going to help them? Why don't we turn Fortune against Immortal and have this new super faction be the one to take over TNA to draw the story ratings in? Not necessarily a smart move. For those of you who saw Impact, that's indeed what happened. Hogan, something's going on, but he's not going to be back for another month again. Supposedly the court issues are taking longer than what the company was expecting. So March 3rd now will mark the return of Hulk Hogan. But then in the Jeff Hardy Mr. Anderson match, the only thing they had left to really draw in the ratings, other than they making their appearance, ends in Immortal attacking Anderson when the referee's down. And that's when Fortune had their chance to turn on Immortal. Eric Bischoff came out afterwards and was demanding an explanation, and AJ Styles said that him and Hogan are trying to tear apart the house that they built, which led the fans to bring back the chant. The chant I haven't heard in a year of bring back Six Sides. If you ask me, the Six Sides is what put TNA on the map. It was new, it was innovative. Wrestling's so common for having a four-side ring, but you have a six-side ring, that adds all the more excitement right there. So yeah, I mean, obviously the fans are going to be siding with Fortune here, and they're going to want what they are used to seeing back. But let's face it, having AJ Styles, Kazarian, and Beer Money turn face, it's good and all, but it's not going to bring in the kind of ratings you're going to want as if you bring back the Main Event Mafia. It's not going to have the same draw. And if you're competing against WWE, a company who's having WrestleMania, their biggest event, just around the corner. Good luck with that, TNA. WrestleMania is around the corner. We learned what the, our next stop being Elimination Chamber. We learned what the qualifying matches, or not the qualifying, the Elimination Chamber matches are for the next pay-per-view. Of course, The Miz is defending the WWE title against Jerry the King Lawler. But they're going to have a Elimination Chamber to determine the number one contender to face the champion at WrestleMania. That chamber consisting of John Cena, Randy Orton, CM Punk, Sheamus, John Morrison, and R-Truth. Should be an exciting match, but I don't really see The Miz or Lawler as a main event of the biggest stage of them all draw. Lawler has a valid point. He hasn't been to WrestleMania as a competitor before, nor has he had the world title. Well, yeah, if you want to give Lawler a championship push, now is not the time of year to do that. As far as The Miz is concerned, does he really have what it takes to draw in those ratings to be in the main event of WrestleMania? If you ask me, we're looking at maybe Miz and John Cena as one of WrestleMania's two main events. On the SmackDown side of things, Edge's and Dolph Ziggler's rivalry is continuing to add animosity, as Vicky Guerrero has banned Edge's spear, and then put Dolph Ziggler and LayCool in a 3-on-2 mixed tag team handicap match against Edge and Kelly Kelly for the world title, which ended in Kelly Kelly spearing Layla. The spear's taken away from Edge. Nothing out there about Kelly Kelly getting the win. Edge retains the title, and Vicky Guerrero fires Kelly Kelly, and then states that Edge has to defend the world title against Dolph Ziggler next week on SmackDown with Vicky the referee. I don't know if that's the kind of draw you want to do this time of year. As far as Kelly Kelly's concerned, I don't see her really being gone at the company. WWE's wanting to make it look like that, but let's face it, when it comes to their divas, Kelly Kelly is the hottest name in the market, and as in she's the one who, kind of that sex appeal, who will bring the male viewers into the company. It's not necessarily a good idea to get rid of her. But then SmackDown's Elimination Chamber match being Edge, Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, Rey Mysterio, Kane, and Wade Barrett. Honestly, yeah, McIntyre and Ziggler aren't exactly main event material yet, but you have a solid Elimination Chamber match right there. One for excitement reasons anyway, but I'm thinking, Edge will come out as champion to have Edge and Del Rio be the other main event of WrestleMania. My only saving grace here is knowing Kofi Kingston starting some sort of rivalry with Del Rio, so let's see if that affects the WrestleMania main event picture. Maybe some sort of triple threat, because honestly, Edge versus Del Rio is not that big of a caliber match for the grandest stage of them all. So, see what happens. On the other hand, we got this guy coming back on 2/21/11. All we've really seen him is his footsteps. Someone wearing a trench coat walking into a house, and then those burning numbers. Well, this last Monday on Raw last night, we listened to the song "There Ain't No Grave" by Johnny Cash. One would assume then that's The Undertaker, but how would he make a Raw comeback, as 2/21/11 is a Monday night, if he's... What's there for him to do? Because I'm still thinking he's going to face Barrett at WrestleMania. The other idea is maybe that Sting. WWE's trying real hard to bring Sting into the Hall of Fame this year, and if you want good WrestleMania ratings, that's that right there. Sting, never been in WWE, why don't we put him on the grandest stage of them all? This Monday, though, McMahon has announced that the guest host for WrestleMania will be announced. Apparently it's a huge announcement. Right now, I'm thinking the worst of it, maybe himself. Hopefully, though, next week in John's Wrestling Views, we'll have a lot more positive, upbeat view of the road to WrestleMania currently. But right now, both companies have a lot of work to do. But until then, thanks for tuning in. I'm John. Have a good one.